we now bring you the inside story of the Narendra Modi government's Kashmir strategy. We bring you the main points. This report says that the latest round of protests in the Kashmir Valley are inspired by the ideology of the Islamic State. The protesters are seeking to Talibanize the Kashmir Valley and overrun a democratically elected government. The government has decided to crush Wahhabi theocracy in the valley. Autonomy backers are marginalized. Talks with Hurriyat ruled out for now. The sovereign supremacy is top priority for the Narendra Modi government at the center and the Mehbooba Mufti government in the state. Joining me now with the latest on this story is India Today Group's managing editor Rahul Kanwal, who's accessed that top secret report. Rahul, bring us details of this government report and their strategy.
Gaurav, the assessment in the government at the highest levels is that the current round of protests in Kashmir are backed by these 3,000 odd Jamiat mosques that have come up over the last few years with the objective of violently overthrowing the currently democratically elected government with the intention of creating an ISIS-inspired caliphate. Now, this is very, very serious because the government's been looking at this situation for more than 2 months now. And on the back of the all-party meeting with various stakeholders in Kashmir, on the back of the internal assessment of the security apparatus, the government has come to the conclusion that there is absolutely no point in talking to the Hurriyat for the reason that the Hurriyat is not in control of the situation. They also believe that you have to send out a very stern message. People have been asking for an outreach. Sitaram Yechury, D. Raja said that let's work towards greater autonomy. The government at the highest level saying that there is no question of greater autonomy because, Gaurav, as you well know, since you've covered Kashmir for so many decades, that the three key pillars of the autonomy question. One, of course, is the fact that earlier at the time of accession, Jammu and Kashmir was supposed to have a prime minister. That got changed into chief minister. Then, of course, there's the question of the election commission and the Supreme Court being separate. The jurisdiction was extended in such a fashion that the Indian EC and the Indian Supreme Court will have writ over Jammu and Kashmir as well. That wasn't part of the original agreement. And also the fact that to deal with terrorism, the central government has responsibilities. Those are the three primary dilutions that have happened over the past few decades. So if you look at the question of greater autonomy, it essentially is a throwback to the agreement that was reached at the time of accession. They're saying, look at all three. Look at, for example, the question of the revocation of AFSPA. They believe that AFSPA is essential because the current police infrastructure is not enough. What does AFSPA allow? AFSPA allows for the CRPF, the BSF, the Assam Rifles and the army to operate in civilian areas. They're saying if that were not to be allowed, given the current situation, given the level of unrest, the situation could very quickly spiral out of control, and therefore the government believes it is impossible to even consider revocation of AFSPA at this time, which is now something that even the former Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Omar Abdullah, who at one time had recommended the revocation of AFSPA, even now even he is saying that this is not a good time.
Yes.
So the government is of the view, send out a firm message. If people in Kashmir start believing that Azadi is around the corner, then a lot of the neutrals who would flow whichever way the wind is blowing. If they believe Azadi is around the corner, they'll join the Azadi bandwagon. Otherwise, they'll focus on trying to bring their lives back on track, focus on the almond apple season, which is around the corner, and really work on rebuilding the economy, rebuilding their lives. They're saying, let's shift our attention to trying to re-establish the primacy of our security forces in a way that the message goes out loud and clear. There is no question of a theocratic state. There is no question of India having an ISIS-inspired caliphate in its neighborhood. That question doesn't arise. And they also believe that even though this movement has largely been leaderless, it is being masterminded from the back by these very hardline mosques that preach Wahhabi Islam. Whereas in Kashmir, originally Sufism had been the primary strain. That now changing. If you look, Gaurav, you traveled to Kashmir recently. Earlier, when Mehbooba Mufti told me this story, that when she was growing up, Women
Yes.
would wear salwar kameezes, they'd wear jeans, some would even wear skirts, and that was considered normal at that time. Now you go to any women's college, you go to any school, even young girls are wearing hijabs, not because somebody is compelling them to, but because that's the current overriding ideology, and they're saying that that's a very, very dangerous ideology, and that needs to be dealt with. So a message of firmness and a message where the government seeks to establish its supremacy and not allow all these mosques backed by the ISI, funded by the ISI, to try and divide India, Gaurav. That's the message that the government is sending out through this new report.
Rahul Kanwal, for the moment, many thanks for joining me. There will be much more on this story on India First at 8:20 and the newsroom at 10 tonight, because Mehbooba Mufti is also repeatedly cautioning her people in Jammu and Kashmir. Do these people want an environment where children cannot go to school, they'll become stone pelters? Do they want an environment where girls are told not to ride scooties or they will be burnt along with their scooties? Because that is the kind of tension that's now there in the valley. Just today, Mehbooba Mufti is understood to have gifted 300 scooties to young school and college girls. Moving on, in an exclusive interview to India Today, Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar questioned the facilities and perks being extended to the separatists and said they must be curtailed immediately. This is an India Today exclusive. Manjeet Singh Negi brings you this report.
A new war front has just been opened against the India-hating Hurriyat. After multiple voices on a group that has established links to terror groups, one of Team Modi's top ministers has made the government stand 100% clear. Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar, speaking exclusively to India Today, has fully backed the choke Hurriyat call.
देश के खिलाफ जो बोल रहे हैं उनके बारे में देश में काफ़ी चिंता है, और ऐसे लोगों को पैसे कौन देते हैं इसकी, और उनको सुविधाएं क्यों देना है? सर्वसामान्य आदमी, सामान्य जो आदमी है उसको सुविधा हम देते नहीं, और ऐसी भाषा, अलगाववाद की भाषा करने वाले उनको सुविधा देते।
Tehreek-e-Hurriyat chief Syed Ali Shah Gilani halted in his tracks as he planned to address the media at his residence, where he has been under house arrest.
The government has toughened its stand today. The state government has foiled the press conference of senior Hurriyat conference leader Syed Ali Shah Gilani here at his residence in Hyderpura. As you can see, huge contingent of police and paramilitary forces have been deployed to prevent media personnel to enter Syed Ali Shah Gilani's house for the press conference.
Gilani is making a desperate effort to bring China into the picture as the valley simmers. Intensifying his anti-India pitch, Gilani has thanked China for expressing concern on Kashmir. It is no secret that China has interests in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Neither are the rising protests in Gilgit-Baltistan against the Pakistan-China economic corridor. The hawks have been raising anti-India cries for decades now, using any weapon they can find to keep the vulnerable locals in the Kashmir Valley in their vice-like grip.
इस्लाम की निस्बत से ही, इस्लाम के ताल्लुक से ही, इस्लाम की मोहब्बत से ही हम पाकिस्तानी हैं, पाकिस्तान हमारा है।
All eyes now on the Modi government at the centre to take stern action and choke the voices promoting separatism in the valley, curtailing all funds, facilities and security at India's expense. With Manjeet Negi in Goa and Shujaul Haq in Srinagar, Bureau Report, India Today.
You just heard Syed Ali Shah Gilani. He proudly announces he is Pakistani because he is a follower of Islam. There is clear evidence of his decades-long love for Pakistan. Is it not time for the government now to act tough on the Tehreek-e-Insaf chairman Syed Ali Shah Gilani? Let's take a look at this report.
हम पाकिस्तानी हैं, पाकिस्तान हमारा है। हम पाकिस्तानी हैं, हम पाकिस्तानी हैं।
How can they understand Kashmiriyat, Insaniyat or Jamhuriyat? The Valley Hawks are guided by their love for Pakistan and communal hatred. They only understand the language of bloodshed and violence. For them, local Kashmiris are cannon fodder, easy fuel to be used to stoke the valley fire. Why would then they open their doors for India when their hearts beat for Pakistan? Listen to this old reaction of Hurriyat Hawk Syed Ali Shah Gilani. Hear the evil he spews and confirm for yourself his strong affiliations to a state sponsor of terror, Pakistan.
सिर्फ और सिर्फ इस्लाम चलेगा इंशाअल्लाह सारे बोलो इंशाअल्लाह इंशाअल्लाह और इस्लाम की निस्बत से ही इस्लाम के ताल्लुक से ही इस्लाम की मोहब्बत से ही हम पाकिस्तानी हैं पाकिस्तान हमारा है हम पाकिस्तानी हैं हम पाकिस्तानी हैं
For Gilani, Islam is the link between separatists like him and Pakistan. Gilani's conscience may be dead, but how else could he use religion to misguide youth for the very land he professes to love, justifying burning Kashmir?
जो बच्चे स्कूलों में कॉलेजों में होने चाहिए थे, आज उनके हाथ में पत्थर है, आज उनकी आंखें, आज उनके बाजू जख्मी हैं। क्यों? क्या ये बच्चों का काम है? क्या 14 साल के बच्चे का काम है कि उनको शील्ड बना के ले जाते हैं? ये बहुत बुरा है।
It is no secret who are the enemies of the valley. It's been oft repeated by the Chief Minister that it's only the 5% anti-nationals who've kept Kashmir burning for 2 months now.
पाकिस्तान से भी आते हैं, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट से भी मिलते हैं, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट से भी मिलते हैं और लोगों से भी इन लोग लेते हैं। इंडिविजुअल सिक्योरिटी का टोटल खर्चा तो बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं है, पर मेरा है कि सब मिक्स करके देखेंगे तो कुछ 10-20 करोड़ होगा। मेरा है कि सेपरेटिस्ट लीडर्स को सिक्योरिटी की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है।
तो ये बिल्कुल सही कदम है कि सुरक्षा और विड्रॉ होना चाहिए। मेरा तो यह मानना है कि उन पर देशद्रोह का मुकदमा चला करके उनको जेल में बंद कर देना चाहिए।
It is time India corrected its error and stopped spending to secure the enemies of the state. It's time to tighten the screws on the separatists whose hearts beat for Pakistan. With Jitendra Bahadur Singh, Bureau Report, India Today. You heard Syed Ali Shah Gilani. Now hear Hafiz Saeed, a designated global terrorist. He lives in Pakistan but spews venom. Again, he's talking about Islam and he's misusing the religion to fuel the unrest in Kashmir. India Today has also accessed an intelligence report that shows how Saeed now has a twin plan to bleed India.
हमने ये करना है कि कश्मीरी मुसलमानों की मदद अल्लाह के हुक्म से करके उनको आज़ाद करवाना है।
India's most wanted terrorist has twin terror strategies for Kashmir. The JUD chief playing the religion card to gain ground in the valley and poison the minds of the locals. Meanwhile, in Pakistan, the terror chiefs collect cash to keep the valley on the edge. A worrying report submitted to India Today reveals that 2611 mastermind Hafiz Saeed and Hizbul Mujahideen chief Syed Salahuddin are collecting funds for Kashmir across Pakistan, using mosques and setting up camps where anti-India slogans fly and terrorists who bled India are glorified. Intelligence sources tell India Today that these Pakistani terror masters are planning to use these funds to launch fresh attacks on military installations in states like Delhi, Haryana and Rajasthan. Kashmir is the prime agenda of Pakistan and the terror masters it nurtures. Listen to the 2611 mastermind spew pure anti-India hate.
हमने ये करना है कि कश्मीरी मुसलमानों की मदद अल्लाह के हुक्म से करके उनको आज़ाद करवाना है। पाकिस्तान के हिस्से से इंडिया की फौज को निकालना पाकिस्तान की जिम्मेदारी है। ये पॉलिसी आप बनाएंगे, आप एक मजबूत बुनियाद के ऊपर खड़े होंगे। कश्मीर पर आपकी बात यूनाइटेड नेशन नहीं सुनती, ना सुने। इंशाअल्लाह दुनिया सुनेगी।
Hafiz Saeed is the architect of the 26/11 carnage that killed 166 people. He is the prime instigator who keeps up the terror hotline with the Valley Hawks. And now he is gathering funds to launch fresh terror strikes. India has to pile more global pressure on a country that plots to bleed its neighbor. With Smita Sharma and Jitendra Bahadur Singh, Bureau Report, India Today.